So let's go back just for a second to what you just said, the flywheel.
Yep.
Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more.
Like, does he have a car?
All right. What's a flywheel?
Okay. Welcome to Royally Unhinged, the podcast where we talk all things marketing, networking, and wizardry. It's all the things that you needed to know and some of the things that you didn't know that you needed to know. I am one of your co-hosts, Tara B, with my other co-host,
Princess P.
and together we are Royally Unhinged.
Just threw that one in the mix, Tara B and Princess P.
I like that.
Then we just need a big initial on our shirts. You have a B
P and a B.
Yeah, I have a P with a crown, and you have a B
with a top hat.
Bzz.
I think I'm going to start using the B and thing. I don't know. I like the B, the little B.
We're already off the rails.
Anyways, we want to bring it back home, and we want to thank one of our lovely sponsors today, Miss Emily with Second String Consulting.
Yeah. Okay, so hey friends, we want to shout out this sponsor. So, do you need things taken off your plate? Do you find that as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a small business, really as anyone, even you're a full-time mom and you want like your own personal assistant. So Emily over at Second String Consulting really will take everything off your plate. And let me tell you, I've worked with her, super professional, absolutely amazing. Some of the services that they provide, they do all the administrative support. So everything from email management, like wouldn't you love to have somebody manage your inbox for you?
Yeah.
Clean it up. Answer, respond, all of the things, right?
Yep.
Scheduling your calendar, taking care of your calendar, making sure all of that happens. Check. Project management. You have a project coming up. There's something going on. At Second String Consulting, they're going to keep your project on task, make sure everything's happening, and probably think of things you haven't even thought of. Customer service. Do you need someone to do the follow-up calls for you for your business? Like to ask for those Google reviews to find out how satisfied your customers are.
Like we all need that.
Right? Everything to do with the customer service part of your business or marketing. Everything from social media management, content creation, how to really grow your online presence. They can do it for you. They can do all of it. They can do a part of it. Emily's amazing to work with, lots of experience. So, secondstringconsulting.com. We would love to introduce you to her. Go check her out. Thank you so much for sponsoring us today
and supporting
Emily.
Royally Unhinged.
It's so great. So yeah, when you need that virtual assistant or like you're an operations, like a business,
you need another you. You need to clone yourself.
Yeah. Or you just need someone to take the stuff off your plate so you can run faster and make millions.
Yeah. Run away from
Second String Consulting. Let them take something off of your plate. Okay. Into the day. Gotta go get me notes.
By day.
All right. So we talk all things here. We are
all of the things.
Right. So I recently saw this video. So then I had to do a deep dive into this because I thought this was so brilliant and so on brand for edeal podcast. All right. Story time. Get comfy. If you're driving in your car, don't get too comfy. Keep driving.
Please.
If we're just playing on the background while you're working out or doing dishes, as you were, but just listen. Put your listening ears on, kids. I'm going to tell you a story, okay? And so this harkens back to an experiment I heard about that I just absolutely fell in love with. And I'm going to try and use these glasses that are very lovely to look at, but kind of useless.
They're really pretty. They're geometric.
They're
and
fabulous.
I'm liking looking at them.
Okay, so at Duke University, there's a professor named Aaron Dinnan. And every year he teaches a course on entrepreneurship called Learning to Fail. So first, pause. Love that. Because we're all stuck in this whole like 10x, supersize your succeed everything. How about learning to fail? How about learning how to get up and fail forward and all the things? So Aaron, kudos to you for your title. So the whole course is built around the idea that the best lessons in business don't come from textbooks. They come from taking real risks, trying bold things, and failing.
Yep.
Okay, love. So early on in the course that he does, he walks into a class holding a plastic bag full of Jolly Ranchers. All right. So he comes in with a whole bag of Jolly Ranchers.
I love me some Jolly Ranchers.
Right. And how much would you say, like an individual Jolly Rancher candy, like one individual candy, how much do you think that's worth? Like
Oh, I thought
couple
you were going to ask
cents.
me how much it weighs.
No,
And it,
like maybe 3 cents, 5 cents.
5 cents?
Yeah, for candy.
I
all
would
right?
think.
If you bought them in bulk, like if you bought a big bag.
Yeah, maybe.
So he comes into his class, and he does this every year. He comes into the class and he dumps them all over the table, and he says, "You have 1 hour to sell a single Jolly Rancher for $100." Okay, so that is the whole test. They're like, you have to sell one for $100. There's no other rules. 1 hour, one piece of candy, $100. Okay, so for a lot of these college students, they come into the class and they see this and they're told that they have to sell this Jolly Rancher for $100. And, it sounds absurd, but that's the whole point. Okay, but the lesson is never about the candy. It's about being creative under pressure,
Yep.
learning, and reframing what value is. So oftentimes, the students, or what some of the strategic ones have done, okay, so like obviously some of the kids, they just fail spectacularly because they're just calling up someone they know and they're like, "Hi."
Will you give me $100 for this Jolly Rancher?
And people are just like, "What? What are you talking about? What's going on?" And they can't do it. They're failing. The ones that succeed, and again, I watched some videos on this. I was reading up on this because I thought this was so brilliant. So the ones that succeed is they're able to track down the students that have been in his class before. So when they call him and they say, "I'm wondering if you want to buy a Jolly Rancher," and these people are like, "Are you in Professor Dinnan's class?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "I know exactly what you're doing. Yeah, I'll buy one for you." Because of the relationship.
It's the flywheel.
So for the people that have experienced this before, who love the professor, love the class, have learned so much,
It's made an impression on them.
that when someone gets that phone call,
Yep.
or okay, I'm reading on some notes, so I'm kind of cheating. If you're listening, not watching, the pauses that I'm reading. So some of the students, when they're trying to sell it, they've turned to storytelling. So they bundle the candy with a memory or symbolic meaning. "This is the first step in my journey as an entrepreneur, and for $100, you can own it." Or they sometimes bundle it into a fundraising pitch. So at the end of an hour, very few actually made the sale. But what was so amazing for me as I watched this video was the ones that were able to make the sale. It was either because they connected with someone who used to be in the class, or they called someone that they knew. I've had so many conversations lately about, say it louder for the kids in the back.
Relationships.
And that's where today's episode begins. Okay,
I need a trumpet.
so let's go back just for a second to what you just said, the flywheel.
Yep.
Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more.
Like, does he have a car?
All right. What's a flywheel?
Okay, so the most of us, well, maybe not the most of us, but in the marketing world, we have always been taught, as business owners in marketing, that it's always a sales funnel. It's always coming down and finalizing that last lead, and then it goes away, and it flies, and it flutters. That is not what the flywheel is. This has been, I'd say last 4 years, maybe 5, however many years. Past few years, the flywheel model has started coming and replacing the whole sales funnel concept, because it's all about, you get that customer, you retain that customer, you've made that relationship with that customer. That customer is now a referral partner, even though they might not be in a business to business world. But you've set your roots down, you've made that connection with that individual, that they're going to go and talk you up, and then they're going to keep coming back.
You know, you tuck me up, you never stop.
Oh, I do know that song. She's bringing, it's there. But the flywheel model, it's really becoming a huge piece. And this is what it's just, we used to be in a world of digital. I'm just going to throw money at all this stuff and it's just going to make it happen.
And it did. But let's acknowledge the fact that it did work. People don't realize everything is always evolving and moving and flowing. And I don't think people have paused to realize things have changed. People are still so stuck in this social media, deep dive into social media.
Yeah.
We're coming out of that, but people don't get it. We're going to off the rails here for a second. Because I've been like looking on Instagram lately. Again, a lot of times I just look on Meta to see if anybody's gotten married, died, graduate, whatever, so I can send a card.
To go back on that a little bit, if you go back to our first episode, Paula and I are personally off of Meta, Facebook, and Instagram. So personally, on our personal pages, we are not on there. Our businesses are still, because we played the Google game. Just to give a little context.
And sometimes I will just pop on there to be like, hey, what's going on? Or really, honestly, does somebody have a birthday? But I was on Instagram and I was like, I'm going to do a quick scroll. So I was scrolling and it was ridiculous. Tara, I was looking at some people going, why are you posting this content? They're posting this content because they've read something somewhere that this is the latest trend or the algorithm, and they're ridiculous. It's not on brand. It's not who they are as a business, has nothing to do with what they sell. They're just doing the latest song and dance. And we're past that, people. It's 2025. We're past that. And anyway.
No, we are.
It's just, I don't even know what my point was. Oh, I was just like, I just realized this recently. And I just thought, you need to be more intentional when you're marketing and branding. And a lot of companies out there, it might even be you. You have hired someone part-time or full-time to be your social media manager or your marketing manager, and you're just throwing money at them to create some kind of content. You don't know what they're doing or if it's effective. Stop it. Stop it. Take time to talk to someone, like, I don't know, me and Tara, who will sit down with you and say, does this make sense for your business? Because you're throwing money. We will take your money. If you want to throw money away, I will take all of your money.
With wads of money.
I have a pocket, and I will take your money in my pocket. And you're hoping that it's working.
Yeah.
What was the original point? Gone. Totally
Social
gone.
media is not where it used to be, and digital marketing is it has been a big part of, social media has been a big part of digital marketing. And it has been that way, especially during COVID, because during COVID, that was like the only way that people could connect. Nobody was going to get coffee. Nobody could. That's just not what was happening.
I need to write things down so I don't forget what I want to tell you.
It was literally turning to social media. And newsflash, we're out of the COVID era.
Newsflash.
We are.
You know what, though? The way it happened, because... I'm touching Tara. Have you heard that people talk still that we're still coming out of the pandemic? We're still trying to get back to how it was pre-pandemic. Like, I hear this all the time. We're still not to where we were before the pandemic. So we're, quote unquote, 5 years out from when it started. Let's say 3 years out from when it ended. And we're still in this recovery phase. But to your point, people are still acting and behaving, and they have the habits of when they were in the pandemic.
And in certain instances, I can see how you can still utilize those tools. So like for social media specifically, don't put all of your eggs in one basket for social media. Don't put all your money in that basket of social media. You should be doing, and we're going to be getting into this, but, what was my other thought?
That's why I'm taking notes.
Don't put all of your eggs. Well, either way, it's just, that's where I was going. Like Zoom, for example, that was another thing we were happening during the pandemic. When we legit were in lockdown mode, we were all hopping on Zoom meetings. That's what we were doing. We utilize that tool now that we are out of the pandemic. We utilize that tool now because for a lot of us, especially we're solar.
I don't hate Zoom though.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
For a lot of us solo entrepreneurs, like
what is going on?
It's can be super useful for us, especially when we're running around trying to do everything within our business. Like, if we need to meet with somebody, just, taking a minute instead of, taking 30 minutes to go and drive to there, and then you meet with them, and then it's another 30. That's an hour of that day that's gone. And, like, especially with me, because I got 2 little kids, like, I really have to plan out as much as I physically can so that I have time with that. So, anyways, no, I love Zoom. I think it's the best thing that it came to be. I have the paid version of it, so I
love in person.
No, I love in person too. I think you need that connection.
People who say I'm so done with Zoom, I'm just like, we got a new tool.
That's
like
what I'm
a great
saying.
new
Like
tool.
A good mix of it. So. And in general,
we don't have to use it all the time like we did during the pandemic, but it's a great tool and resource.
Same thing with social media. You don't need to be posting all the trends that are coming out. If you find a direction, you go with it, be personable in your plan that you're putting out there. Because, and I say this all the time, I'm going to trademark it, TM. People like working with people. People do not like working with businesses. Put personality behind it. Put intention behind it. Be intentional with what you're putting out there. Don't just go with the normal norms of, oh, this is the latest TikTok shindig. I'm going to go and shake my tushy in front of a camera. And it's like, that's not your brand. Well, you sell medicine or you sell lobster. I don't know. But like, just know
lobster.
Your brand. I don't know where lobsters came from.
You just segued beautifully into another topic I wanted
intentionally
to dovetail into this podcast.
Connection.
And okay, so when you talk about your brand and who you are. So yesterday, I just finished watching, we've been watching a Amazon Prime documentary on George Carlin. Very famous comedian, spanned decades. And as I was thinking about that, I also just so happened to rewatch some video and look up some content that had to do with Ariana Grande. And I'm going to show you how these two fit together.
I love Ariana.
So George Carlin, if you are not familiar with who he is, a comedian, but he started back in like the 50s, like black and white television, suit and tie, looked like the original style of the Beatles, right? And he was kind of very straight laced and whatnot. But as every decade came along, he essentially reinvented himself. So rather than just staying with kind of one brand of who he was, he kept fine tuning it, figuring out who he was. I don't want to use the word pivot because I think we've overused it too much.
Pivot.
Righto. But it was like watching how he kept recreating this brand of who he was so that he stayed relevant. And every time people tried to say like, oh, he's so out of date, he's the one that tells these kind of jokes, he would kind of find a new version of himself, like a new modern, freer version. Okay. At the same time, if you watch the arc of Ariana Grande, where she's come from, who she was when she first came on the scene, and she was very popular for who she was and what she did.
Popular.
We're gonna be popular. Oh, that touche.
I know.
And just watching how she's continued to. Oh, you know who else is another good example? Miley Cyrus.
Oh, yeah.
Look at Miley Cyrus.
Both of them.
Right. Hannah Montana.
Seriously.
When she came on, super popular, very well known as Hannah Montana.
As
that was a brand.
And then
there was a whole, like the whole Disney thing, like how well known she was, who she was, all the marketing, the dolls, the everything, super popular. Then she morphed into, and then she did her whole bad girl, like trying to find myself, everything, but was still kind of had a brand, had an image that like she keeps reinventing herself, and each one is equally good, has a brand, has an essence to it. I love this for people because they're still true to themselves and true to who their brand is, but they understand that they can change and morph and evolve.
Well, and I think part of that too, because especially for us smaller solo entrepreneurs, like we are our brand. We were just talking about this not long ago. We are our brand. So if you are your brand, guess what? What is it? Every 7 years, like you yourself changes like mentally, and like you're in a new season of life. So like, and I learned this from not marriage, marriage count.
Therapist?
What's the thing that you do before you get married?
Oh, premarital.
Premarital counseling or whatever it is. The classes, whatever
Yes.
you do. But we learned through that every 7 years you essentially become in a new season. Individually, you become in a new season of life. So you basically have to relearn your spouse, your significant other, every 7 years. So if you think about that, so it is actually, yes. But if you think about that, so like you yourself is changing at least every 7 years mentally, just where you are, your goals, like all of that stuff. So if you are your brand, shouldn't your brand be going along with that and what your brand's goals are and, fitting into what's being available out there?
Okay. So now you just made me think of something. And so this is interesting because sometimes when a brand tries to change itself, change its logo, change its colors, sometimes it goes over really well, sometimes not so well. Anybody that saw what happened with Jaguar this year when they tried to change their logo, oh my gosh, did not go well for them.
There was another one several years ago when Gap tried to rebrand because it wasn't the stylistic serif font anymore. They tried to make it a bold sans serif font, and everyone's like, this is awful, this isn't. So like it happens.
But it's realizing that it's why. Are you rebranding yourself because there's something new, something fresh, but you're still staying true to who you are? It's so good.
Do you want to know a really good example of somebody that successfully did that?
Always.
And it's a wide known, I'm sure everybody has heard of it. There's this little tiny company called Starbucks. Starbucks over the years has, when they started, it's always been the same logo, same colors, except they've just refreshed it each year. So it's not the exact same logo, but it's the same concept. They have the mermaid and the thing.
The siren?
The siren.
It's calling to you. The coffee's calling to you. It's so true.
But it started with like a stylistic like illustration piece, and then it just kept going and it kept evolving and evolving with it's still the same thing. And that's making it, when you develop a brand too, making sure that it's a timeless piece that is going to allow you. And I go over this a lot with clients, like when I develop brands for them, making sure that it's something timeless. So as, we evolve in the world today, new things come out, new trends come out, new voices come out, all of this stuff, that it's something that you can keep and that you can just keep tweaking as you need to grow with you as you keep evolving.
So good. Okay, watch how I'm going to take this full circle.
Full pickle.
So,
husband says that. I don't know why.
That just
I'll
got
ask
weird
him.
for a minute. Okay, so as I was talking to someone recently, so we go back to the beginning. So these kids have to sell a Jolly Rancher for $100. And what would you do? Who would you call? And I am going to say it. It's going to be on my tombstone one day. Take the coffee meeting. It's who you know, not what you know. It's all about relationships and who you know.
Yes.
Period. Big full stop.
It is.
And so when I talk about my business, and sometimes when people ask me about Princess Paula Consulting and how is it taking off and how is everything happening, it's because I built such a strong network. Networking, giving, so that when I was ready to do something, I could lean into this network I had, these people that I know, and ask for help and to do things. And when I saw that little project of, if I had to sell a Jolly Rancher for $100, who would I call? Well, I'd call somebody I know. I would call someone and say, I'm doing this project. I have to sell one for $100. Would you buy it? And if you call up somebody you have a relationship with that knows, they're probably going to laugh and chuckle. And they're like, sure, why not? Here's $100.
I'd call my mom. I know she would do it.
Would she? I don't know. With my parents? I don't know. My dad left a voicemail today making fun of how long my voice message was. He was like, oh my gosh, I fell asleep trying to listen to that whole thing.
I don't think yours is long.
Thanks, Dad.
It just says like, hey, you've reached Princess Paula, leave a message, and
my
I will
father.
call you back. I won't leave you, or however.
Won't leave you hanging. Woo.
Yeah.
Any hoodly. Okay. I'm just all over the place today. So yes, networking, having a strong network, being able to tap into your network, more and more as I talk to businesses, because people are trying to figure out what to do now since social media is changing. They're not sure, what does that look like for me as a business? Do I still stay there? Do I not? Am I what is that business?
Business.
With the way AI is coming up and starting to do things, how does that intersecting, right, with all of this? Networking doesn't change. Networking is always a
Constant.
surefire, just keep getting out there and meeting people.
Yep.
And let your network help to grow your business.
It's one of the questions I ask when I go through onboarding and go through my Maid SWOT analysis that I go through. One of the questions, what are the opportunities that you are getting involved with right now? Like, what are you doing to get out there? Do you know how many times that people say, oh, I'm not doing anything? Like, what is wrong with you? Well, I don't say that to them. You probably have your reasons. But seriously, it's just, the
landscape is so different now. The landscape for marketing is so different because there's not one or two channels. Like it really used to be, if you needed a whatever, you looked in the phone book or you looked in the newspaper. I mean, for the longest time, that's all it was. And then when we moved to Google, when we moved to the internet, there was still limited ones. So even if you went to Google and you Googled for someone, there was a small percentage that you're still going to find there.
And now
it was easy to find you. We're so flooded. We're so overwhelmed with information on social media, on Google, like even just, oh my gosh, Tara, even when there used to be 3 stations, right? CBS, NBC, ABC. At night, we were only watching one of those 3. So if you went to school or work the next day and you were we were all watching the same shows because there were only 3 stations.
Yeah.
Think about the number of channels on TV, networks, paid
Just on
subscriptions.
legit cable, the subscribe, like
think of YouTube. Some people only go on
YouTube
YouTube to watch
TV.
on YouTube. That alone. Other people are finding other things on the internet. So apart
Peacock,
from your TV,
Paramount, Netflix, Amazon,
Prime,
Video.
Hulu, Max, Disney, like all of the things. So that's why sometimes when people will say, have you seen this? Have you watched this? I'm like, we can't do that anymore.
Well, and it's not just like all of the networks show all the same things. All of the streaming shows all the same. No, like they have to buy the rights to it. So even if something that used to be on Netflix years ago, well, their contract ran out with showing this one show on here. Well, then Disney went and bought it out. So now Disney shows it. So now you have to like bounce between all these other things. Anyways.
But from a business, like if you're in business now, you can't really think about dominating. Like unless you're a business that kind of came through it all, like a Nike or a Starbucks. They were around before.
Right.
So they still have that pull power.
It's a consistent brand. They have a one direction.
But they were
Not
there.
One direction.
They were around before. Like they kind of were grandfathered in with, through commercials, through things that we all used to watch. So anyone starting out now that they're kind of like, how do I get found? How do I get... It's going to look different. Oh, we're going to have a whole separate episode on the Savannah Bananas. You want to talk about, they are an exception to this, where I look at someone and I go, how did somebody cut through all of the noise and make themselves like just a super brand? We're going to do a whole episode on them.
That's going to be
because
fun.
You want to talk about, I just cannot wait, Tara. I've been taking notes on them because you want to talk about someone who figured out the secret sauce, and it's not even a secret sauce, just...
It's knowing their brand and utilizing their brand.
Knowing their brand, and they stayed true to it. Even when it didn't make sense financially, even when everybody else booed them and was like, that's dumb. They were like, this is what we're going to do. Oh, okay, there's so many things. 2 more things. I have 2 more things. So the first is, I was talking to someone recently, speaking of Zoom. I was on a Zoom, and one of the things that came up is this person within their network, and it wasn't our talk with Tim, another person. And within her network, she calls 2 of her network people every day to stay in touch. And I love this because I actually thought I might start going through my database, like my own little database.
And just giving calls.
Make 2 to 3 calls a day so I'm staying top of mind and just connecting with people that I've met since I'm losing my mind and can't remember half of the people. Just know if we bump into each other in public and I say, what's your name again? I'm not being rude. I'm just of a certain age. I'm losing my mind.
Please don't feel bad. She half the time forgets what my name is.
True story.
And spells it wrong all the time. So, well, you haven't done that in a while. So I'll give you kudos on that.
New meds help. Because I already forgot the other thing I was going to say. Okay, so 2 calls a day.
2 calls.
Oh, And then a fun fact, oh my gosh. So, Chick-fil-A, they are known for what phrase?
I don't actually know this. I
Okay.
don't go there that often.
Oh my gosh. All right. Anybody else, you're yelling it at your screen right now, or you're yelling it in the background.
And
So
like,
they
next
say
time
my
I see
pleasure.
Sharon's-
I also know this because two of my
Oh.
kids worked for Chick-fil-A. So they have a whole brand that is, every time you go to a Chick-fil-A, they'll say, my pleasure. And you're like, thank you. And they go, my pleasure, my pleasure. That's their tagline. That's their whole thing. All of their employees are trained to say, my pleasure, my pleasure. Like, that's what they say. It took them 2 years to incorporate that into their culture. When they decided,
Just 'cause the workers just wouldn't do it.
it's just realizing how long it can take to kind of like change or create a brand, like create something. So
Yeah.
when they were like, this is going to be our thing, this is what we're going to do, it took 2 years to train all their people to get them on board. I thought that was so significant because if you are in a business, work for a business, love a business, and there's something you want to do, because this also holds true for marketing, and you kind of go, all right, I've made a decision. I want to do this. This is going to be my brand. This is going to be, okay, I've been doing it for 2 weeks.
Where's all the results?
Why isn't it working? Should we try something else? 2 years it took Chick-fil-A to get all of its people to say
Yeah.
my pleasure, which is now standard. We all know it, except for Tara. And if you've ever been to a Chick-fil-A
I've heard
anywhere
it.
in the country and they say my pleasure, it took them time. It's going to take time. Miley Cyrus didn't become the Miley Cyrus today that she is overnight. It was an evolution.
It was an evolution, and it takes time.
Dramatic pause.
I just got the look. She's like, add on, Tara. No, so it takes time, and you know what else takes a lot of time?
Because it's a climb.
Oh my gosh, she did that.
It's a climb.
She did it. No, but you know what else takes a lot of time? Doing a lot of stuff that you could probably give to a virtual assistant.
Oh my gosh, I was just gonna, you stinker bottom. I was already in my head, already ready. Oh, so good. She's so good. Oh, do tell, are you talking about our wonderful sponsor
I
today,
am
Tara?
talking about our wonderful sponsor today, Emily, with Second String Consulting. So if you just don't have the time to do the things, like a lot of us do, especially me, I got 2 kids. I ain't got no time for nothing.
Ain't
nobody
got time for that.
Of course, of course it would. Ain't nobody got time for that. But if you don't have time in your own business and you need somebody to help you out with certain things, whether it's back end email stuff, if it's scheduling, if it's doing some of your social media, and you figured out that plan, you talked to a marketing person, or you just know your brand well enough that you're like, okay, this is what I want to do. I just don't have the time to do it. Second String Consulting is a great place to reach out to.
One of the other things I love about Emily at Second String Consulting is she will be project based. So even if you're like, I don't, or I can't, or I don't have a need to hire you like every week for a certain number of hours, but I'd like you to fix up my CRM, or, like I've even had her before. I've given her all my business cards. I'm like, can you enter all these in and make it pretty and do all the things? Done. So she can do some
tasks,
one-off projects that you might have where you're just like, I have got this event coming up, or I just did this event and I got a whole list of names I don't know what to do with. So she can be project based, or you can just say, all right, I want you a certain number of hours a week and act as my admin and make calls or do whatever.
Be a mini me.
Yeah. Have a conversation with her. She's absolutely amazing. secondstringconsulting.com. If you've got a thing, call Second String Consulting.
I'm going to give a little known fact that some of you might not know. Do you know that Paula writes jingles?
Yes, I do, doodly do. Of the many things that are in my bag of tricks.
One of them is writing jingles. So if you need a jingle for your company, please call Princess Paula.
I'm
at
not
Princess
afraid
Paula
to
Consulting.
try things. So true story. One time I had someone in my network reach out and they're like, Paula, do you know anyone that does singing telegrams? We want to do a singing telegram for someone in our office. And
I saw that photo of you.
I was like, well, yes, who is it? And when do you need it? And how much are you paying? I'm your girl. Because I just happen to have random costumes in our house.
Yes.
Because who doesn't?
What was it? Were you a raccoon?
Yes. And so it was someone's birthday. And so I wrote a little song for this person's birthday. And I picked up some helium balloons and I showed up and I did a singing telegram.
Oh, you should reshare that again soon. So now they'll like know what we're talking about when this releases.
I so need to share that. Yeah, I'm willing to try. There's not much that embarrasses me because it's just all fun.
So here, I want to bring it back to kind of what we were talking about. So a lot of what we were saying was, know your brand, know what works for you, change your brand as you need to, but be true and be intentional with what you're doing. And what Paula is saying right here is don't be afraid to try things either. And this is a huge thing for business owners because they, especially in the Midwest and Minnesota, Wisconsin, they can get scared and deer in the headlights look very easily. So when a lot of these new things are coming out, like either talk with somebody or do the research on what could be beneficial for you, or talk to us, give us a shout, just be like, I feel like this could be something, and like, you're just going to get, I'm just spinning words right now, but don't be afraid to try. And I feel like for a lot of us small business owners, like we started a business, like that's already a really scary thing anyways. So we already did something, we tried it, and now we are where we are. But with all of these new marketing things or different social media things, different networking groups, like just don't be afraid to try. And I'm going to be very vulnerable right now. I hate networking. Not that I... No, don't take that way. I love getting out and meeting people, but I am a very introverted person. So... And a lot of you, they're like,
Isn't there a Harry Potter? Wait, is there a Harry Potter potty? Is there a Harry Potter? No. Isn't there a Harry Potter thing where they freeze, they fright, and they freeze fright, and they're like statues? They're scared. Is there? Don't stare at me like that. Isn't there a Harry Potter thing where they get so scared that they?
It's called being petrified.
Yes! I knew it! That's what just happened. She said she does like networking, and I was like, how do you get me under?
That's from the basilisk.
How do you get me? Oh, yeah, when they see the snake. How do you get me under unpetrified?
You need
to take me networking.
Mandrake. The juice of the mandrake. There's like a potion that the mandrake produces.
Go on with not liking people.
But here's the thing. Well, a lot of people, when I say that, and I've given this little mini talk before when I do like little mini presentations and stuff, that I don't like getting up in front of people. I just don't. I don't really have a whole issue with it, but it's a lot of eyes on you and all of that stuff.
It's a lot of energy.
I am, and I say this a lot, I'm an introverted, extroverted person.
Oh, so is my husband.
So
if I am
forced to go out and do these things, not even necessarily forced, but
you can do it when you need to.
I can do it when I need to.
But it takes a lot of energy.
It takes a lot of energy. Would I prefer staying home in my sweatpants, sitting on the couch with my kids and playing Uno or something? Yes, I would much rather prefer doing that. But
pick up 4.
Pick up 4?
Uno.
Pick
up 2.
Oh.
Reverse.
Cancel.
But you know it's what you gotta do.
But I know it's what I gotta do. Like, it's just going out and trying the thing. So anyways, I don't like to do networking, but I know that it's something that I need to do. And I get to connect with some wonderful, super freaking amazing people. And I love doing that. I got like only a certain energy level because I got 2 little kids and we're doing potty training right now. And let me tell you, that takes a lot.
Girl.
So with all of the things, like my energy level is just down.
Shout out to all the mom business owners that are doing all the things.
Seriously, if you guys have time at some point, just mommy business owner, and you just like, I just need to decompress.
Should do a play date. Should do a mommy business owner play date at a park.
Text or something, or like comment. Like I'll go get
that
some
could be a whole networking for mom business owners, and you meet at a park, and while your kids play, you can just discuss things,
talk and all of the things, and complain about your kids' potty training and all of that great stuff. But
Until we see you at a networking meeting with your kids at your potty training, your dogs at your potty training, or your coworkers at your potty training.
I would hope. If you're potty training your coworkers, maybe you don't want to deal with it. So please reach over to Emily at Second String Consulting, and she probably won't help you
She's
with
like,
that.
no, it's not one of my services.
But she can help you with a lot of other services that you just don't have the time for, especially you mom business owners out there.
And she's also a mom.
Time.
So thanks, Emily. Thanks
She
for
understands.
sponsoring our podcast. She's great. Again, I've used her services. Sometimes you just need an assistant.
A helping hand.
A virtual one, an executive one, just someone to take it off your plate. Just take this off my plate. And she's like, I got you. And that's what she does.
You, babe.
So until next time, when we meet you here in the studio or at a networking meeting, or if I might call you to try to sell you a Jolly Rancher for $100.
I kind of want to try it now, and I want to record myself doing it.
That'd be kind of fun. We could do it live. We could do it right here.
Maybe
that
we'll
might
have a
to
live
be
event.
Maybe this will just be an ending. We'll have a little edit in with us on the phone.
Of us going to do it.
Of us on the phone calling somebody, and we'll see what response they have. Any hoodly. Until next time, friends. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Hey, why don't you go like, subscribe, follow whatever platform you're listening to us on.
All the things. We're on YouTube, Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Amazon Music. We're on iHeartRadio.
There might be a homing pigeon just dropping a cassette tape on your head sometime soon. Bloop. If you would like to sponsor one of our podcasts, we would gladly just tell everyone how awesome and how great you are. So just give us a ringy-dingy and we'll figure something out. Until next time, friends, I am one of your co-hosts, Princess Paula, along with this lovely lady,
Terry B.
And together, the two of us, as always and forever, shall henceforth be known as Royally Unhinged! Abracadabra! What is the Patronus? Bye!
With all of those. See you later, alligator.